Hi, this is Kazul of Kazplay, back again with another video. This video is going to be sort of just a wrap-up of Greymane, the whole build that Greymane went through, and, you know, everything, just talking about my thoughts and feelings about it. So if that's what you're interested in, keep watching. I have my notes right here with all the dates and stuff, so I may be referring to it a little bit. Hope that doesn't get annoying. So Greymane, yes, that was my build that I've been working on. It's done, and I'm finally getting to this wrap-up video. So just a little history on Greymane. I decided that I would build Greymane back in July of 2014. Now, the plan was to build Greymane for my husband and the Arakoa for me, to build them side by side and take those two to Blizzcon. Things happened. We suddenly decided to move across the country for my husband to go to law school. And so, you know, moving across country takes a ton of time to like break down everything and then set it back up. And some health problems started happening, so we decided to cut Greymane for that year. But then I still made the Arakoa. We still went to Blizzcon, had a great old time. Then 2015 came around. There was still some of those health problems, so we, Frosty decided not to. We decided that it would be best if it was me doing the cosplay again. So I decided to build the Gorin, which was really exciting, testing out all sorts of new techniques, and it was just a really cool build, and I was excited about it, and we had the space to do it. So that's what we built in 2015. But now right after we were leaving BlizzCon 2015, I decided, I'm like, next year I have to build Greymane. I can't put it off anymore, because all this time I'd been drawing and sketching and prototyping. Like, if you look back through my picture album on Facebook, like, you can see all the changes that he went through. Like, every month I'd like draw it again and replan it out, do something new. And so so I decided that would be the one we were doing. I originally was gonna start building it in summertime, like come May, but then we moved back across country. And we were living in a temporary housing situation for 2 months before we could move into our place that we're now. And so that put us back another, because I didn't unpack my studio and any of the tools for those 2 months, so I was behind. So I really didn't get to start building Greymane until late August. Now, that was kind of a blessing in disguise, if you call it that, because in August, the Broken Shore cinematic dropped, and Greymane had a whole new redesign. So I thought it was really awesome. There was great reference photos, so I decided to change my whole direction to focus on just building it like that. And so that left me, like, we moved again into here, and I set up this studio to be, you know, and I started building August 18th, 2016. And so that means I only had 2 months, about a little bit more, to build Greymane. And, you know, it was a lot of work. There was many nights. Oh, and I also have a full-time job. So there's many days where I'd, you know, get off work, come straight into this room and work, like take a tiny half-hour break for dinner, and then keep working until like 4 o'clock in the morning. That was my life for 2 or 3 weeks right at the very end to get it done. It was crazy hectic. It was a lot of work. I think it was worth it in the end. I think I had fun building it. It was a lot of stress, I'll tell you that, at the end. And I ended up finishing it in the hotel room, doing the final weathering on the coat in the hotel room. Classic cosplayer move, finish in the hotel room, right? Oh, and we finished in the hotel, went to the costume contest, and ended up winning an honorable mention, which is a huge honor. The competition at BlizzCon is so intense. But so that means I was in the top 12 of 100 entrants to BlizzCon. Or we were. My husband was the one on stage, but there was 8 honorable mentions this year and 4 prize winners. We still got $250 cash prize, which is pretty awesome. So that's the kind of history behind Greymane. And we went to BlizzCon, and right now I'm going to bring my husband in here, and I'm going to ask him some questions about what he thought about Greymane. Alright, so we got Frosty here, and I wanted to ask him some questions about Greymane and basically the process and what he thought of the whole thing, because he was sort of integral, being the one that was wearing it. I had to always call him in here, be like, try this on, take it off, fix something, put it back on, right? So how was the build process for you?
It was pretty crazy, mostly because you were going crazy most of the time.
Yeah, I was.
So it was half coming in here and trying it on, and half keeping me sane through the rush to finish him. watching The Office, pretty much the entire series through.
So when I was working, and I'm like, you have to stay close, because what if I have to put something on you to test fit it again? So he would come in here, he would sit just over there and watch The Office with me while I was working.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. But it was fun. We solved a lot of problems along the way.
Yeah.
Made things work, so it was fun.
Some things ended up not working, but
yes.
It was still fun, but
we learned a lot.
Stressful. Yeah. So next question, how was it to wear? Was it uncomfortable? Did I put you in a death trap? Or was it comfy?
It was actually really comfortable to wear, especially with the cooling vest.
That's right.
The cooling vest makes it to where it's actually really nice to wear.
Right. I built in cooling packs to the front and back of his muscle suit. So. And
the braces we used for the head to kind of counteract the weight of the nose.
Right. So here, show me your profile. So his head was coming out here. Greymane's head right here, and I put straps to the back of the helmet that he was wearing that connected into his bodysuit that helped counterbalance it. So
without those, it's it basically feels like somebody eventually is trying to crush your nose, like somebody stomping on your nose slowly.
Because the weight is all there, and
so I'm glad we got that.
Yeah. Okay. Vision. How was it to see?
Vision's great. It's better than most costumes, actually.
Yeah. Mouth vision, even with all the teeth in the way. It's fantastic, right?
And even without wearing a balaclava, apparently people still couldn't see me inside. So that's something that's really cool about that costume, because you think people would see me.
Right, but you're so deep inside it.
Yep.
So
it works really well.
Cool. Okay, so how was it being, think back to BlizzCon. How was it being the one in costume there?
It was a thrill.
Yeah?
It was, I don't know, it's kind of crazy because I've watched you do it for a few years now. Finally get my chance to do it, and it was neat to be the center of attention, I guess. Yeah. The going on stage was quite exciting.
Was it exciting? Did you feel the butterflies all up in your stomach?
I was just excited to get out there. I was waiting. I was just there, the two people that were, there's two people that hold the curtain. Uh-huh. And they were oh, you look awesome, right before I went out. And so I was like, oh, cool. Uh-huh. And then, I thought about what to do on stage, and I didn't really know what I was going to do. I kind of had in my mind that I wanted to do the Worgen cheer emote, which seemed to get a good cheer, which was even cooler.
Right, because the Worgen emote is kind of like this. We got a GIF of it all over on the screen.
Yeah, I made that GIF, and then of course afterwards all I did was gave a thumbs up, which was kind of lame. So.
Right.
But the
nerves of you don't know what to do. That's kind of your default action.
I think it's because I was happy that it had that I got the response that I wanted because everybody cheered. And then
You should have like roared at them, like "Rawr!"
I reverted to my cute fursuit mode by default because all of my other costumes are like cute, and so I reverted to them accidentally, and then it like didn't work with the character very well.
Whoops.
But I think I made up for it, and I think I walked pretty well. I think it looks like I'm awkwardly walking at the very end when I stop on the spot, even though I could see it clearly. Like, I wasn't looking down at it anymore because I knew where I was, but for some reason on the video it looks like I was like lost or something.
Right.
Those last few steps. I don't know why. Because I was looking out in the crowd, actually.
Yeah, but you can't really see anything because there's lights shining at you.
You could see like the first, few rows of people clearly, and then of course like it's just all dark. So.
Yeah. Okay, so I was the handler this year. How was I as a handler?
Your handling was good. I'm sure it was a different experience for you because of that. Then you got to like handle people taking photos of me. Did I get away from you at all or anything?
Well, sometimes it was hard, like getting your attention, being like, "Hey, pictures, stop."
It's most of the time because I see people from about their this part of their body down.
Right. That's right.
Since I'm trying to look down most of the time to make it look better.
Huh.
And so like if you're pointing, I can't see your arm.
Oh well, yeah. I was trying to point low and be like over this way, over that way. You had
to be like right here for me to do that. So.
That's true. I should have tested that with you before, being like, where can you see my hand, right? Tell me when to stop.
So it's like I'd hear you saying, look, and so I'd try to like look, and of course there's 20 people taking a photo of you, so I'm trying to like zero in on like who it might be, or just kind of stay in character so everybody can get a decent shot instead.
Yeah, that's hard. Let's see. Oh yeah, being a handler was very different. Yeah, I thought it was hilarious how people would come up to him and be like, "Oh, Kazul, I love your work," and they were talking to him, and I'm like, "Oh, hello, I'm right here." It was hilarious. I loved it though.
Surprising people.
Yeah. Let's see. What was your favorite thing about being Greymane?
My favorite thing was being able to be a werewolf. I mean, being Greymane itself was cool, but I think that my favorite part of it was being able to walk around the con space a little bit and seeing the Varians and and the Sylvanuses that I could see. I was glad that I got at least one photo, with the Sylvanus.
Yeah, it was funny. Like every Sylvanus that I saw, I'm like, "Greymane, there's Sylvanus. Go get her!" Like a dog.
I tried to get one on the stairs.
Yeah, there was this one. He was going up the escalator, and there was a Sylvanus coming down the escalator, and so he just was like, "Rawr." I
was trying to claw her. If anybody had that on video or photo, I would I would love to have seen it. But
and then anytime I'd see a Varian, I'd be like, "There's Varian over there." And then he would be like, "Varian, take my hand." Yeah. It was hilarious.
So we got a couple pictures of that. So
yeah, we got a couple pictures with some Varians.
So those were fun. Having fun interactions with characters like that, and really just experiencing BlizzCon from behind the mask for the first time was really cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
It's fun being blinded, but having all this attention, and you really don't realize how much attention you get. Like, I realized more this time being your handler, like all the whispers that are around you. As you walk through a crowd, everybody's like, "Dude, that's a great Greymane," or "Dude, that's so awesome." And then some people would be like, "Lord Greymane." And they wouldn't be brave enough to say it loud enough for you to hear or come ask for a picture, but they'd be like, "Dude, that's awesome." There was tons of ninja photos of you that I noticed.
So that's what I always see the last couple of years instead.
Yeah. So that was fun to see. Let's see, do you have any other regrets, or is there anything that we could do better next time?
I'm sad we didn't get the sword done.
Oh, yeah.
The sword would have made for a whole different performance, I think.
Yeah, having a prop would have helped you a little, I think.
I think on stage it would have been... I would have definitely stayed in character.
Yeah. He had this whole thing planned for the sword specifically, but when we had to cut that, I forgot that we cut the sword. Okay, yeah.
That was one of the things that we sadly had to eliminate. One day we can build it still.
Yes, I have all the stuff. I just got to do it.
Then we'll take it back to BlizzCon. Do it again.
Yeah, I'm sure people would love to see Greymane again. So here's the last question. Would you cosplay at BlizzCon again?
Absolutely.
Would you go through the torture of me, like, being stressed and making you try on stuff over and over and over again? Again.
Well, it's always worth it every year.
True.
It's stressing every year, and but every year it's worth it even more, I think.
Yeah.
I begged her to do it again this next year, but it sounds like I'm not going to get the chance.
Yes.
It's going to be her turn.
I'll reveal at the end of the video I've come up with my plan. Yes.
But I'll be back soon. We have another plan for the future.
Yeah, we have other plans for him to wear, and I'll be building him more. Maybe one year we could both go in cosplay.
We have an idea.
Yes. That idea is awesome.
That idea. Yes, that.
I'll save that. I'll save that. Well, anyway, thanks for answering my questions, and thanks for wearing Greymane.
Always.
So now I kind of want to take it to a more serious note and talk about we talked about the fun times we had. Well, I want to talk about the challenges that we overcame. One of the big one was that 2 days before we were leaving in the car to go to BlizzCon is that the moving jaw on Greymane stopped working. And that was disappointment, but at that point there was nothing we could have done to fix it. Let me show you. Here's my Arakoa, and this is to explain a little bit of how the jaw works. So the jaw is inverted. This is basically how Greymane looks too. So there's the helmet with the head. You have this little chin strap that goes around your head. And so when you open your mouth, it holds the character's jaw shut. And when you loosen it, so you have this inverse movement. There's just like a little pulley up there and there attached with a cable. So that was the basics of the mechanism. And it works great for the Arakoa because it's so simple. This lower jaw is pretty light. We had to weight it down with a little bean bag that I disguised as a tongue. But there wasn't much weight. There was nothing attached to this. His feather cowl just attaches with Velcro right here. So it was very lightweight, and this is a really effective mechanism, and this jaw works great when I'm performing in it. Greymane, on the other hand, it was a lot more complicated. I added in all the teeth. There was a silicone tongue that I debated on whether I'm putting in there or not. But he also had the chin braids. There was the fur all around it, and the fur was sewn and attached to the neck. And I think sewing it to the neck was like the final nail in the coffin. All along the way, with more weight, the jaw got harder and harder for Frosty to move. But then sewing the fur around the neck like really constricted it, and that was the last straw, and it wouldn't budge. And there's nothing I can really do to fix that. It is a fundamental design flaw. Like, I'd have to go and re-engineer the whole thing, which is I'd probably have to take his face apart, take the neck off, and I don't know if it's possible at this point to get it working. I definitely don't have time to try. But, I think that was a little bit of a product of me rushing a little bit and also being too confident, because I'm like, oh, this method worked perfectly on Arakoa, it'll definitely work for Greymane, which wasn't the case. I should have thought about that more. And if I had a little more time, because I saw this that it could have been a potential problem early on, but I was so pressed for time that instead of going back and trying to fix it and figure out another way, I just kept moving forward, and it broke. So it was totally my fault, and so that was a little disappointing. Also, on the same note of rushing and building fast, like, I know that it was good, and I was super dedicated, like working every day, like really hard. I had a lot of, I don't know, determination to finish it because, I just didn't want to fail. And I'd always, before this build, I had prided myself as a person who, wasn't afraid of failing. I'm always doing crazy stuff and prototyping and, trying these new things that I've never done before. And, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't, and I move on. But with Greymane, like, failing along the way, little things along the way, it didn't bother me. But the thought of, working so hard and putting all that effort into it and then not having the costume ready for the convention, it terrified me. And there was many nights where I was just like sobbing, working on it, just being like, oh, I have to finish this. This is so hard. This is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I was just tears. Like there were nights, like multiple nights, when I'd just go to bed sobbing because I'm like, I can't finish this. Whew. Well, and yeah, I contemplated seriously giving up a few times, but with the support of my husband, and so there you have it. Those are kind of my thoughts and feelings about building Greymane. Like, it was a crazy time, but looking back, I'm glad that I went through it and glad that I beat it. So, hope you enjoyed hearing that kind of behind the scenes about, the experience of building it, because, maybe I didn't show that as well through Twitter and social media before. It's taken me a little bit to the point where I could actually talk about it. And so that brings me to this year's BlizzCon, which I did actually decide on what to build just today, actually. I've kind of been struggling to find something because I'm going to be wearing it. So the things that are important to me is that I wanted it easy to wear and easy to move in. So, because I wanted to be able to act and perform in it to the best of my ability. And, I'm considering employing some puppeting techniques so that it'll move more fluidly so that my performance will sell the character better. So this year I am planning on building Hugger. So everyone's favorite Gnoll boss. I think it'll be a fun build. Yeah, it's another snarly dog thing, just like Greymane. I think it can be different enough. I'm looking forward to the more kind of humorous nature of Gnolls, because you don't really take them seriously. It'll be a really fun character to do. I'm looking forward to it. I'll definitely upload all my progress on all my social media and follow the progress on YouTube, so I hope you stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe, to click the subscribe button, so you'll see all my videos as they come out. And yeah, you can even click the little bell next to the subscribe button to be notified every time I post a video. If you like this video, give it a like, and I really do hope that it sheds some light on some of the processes of building cosplay. It's a lot of fun, challenge sometimes, but you get stronger every time you do something challenging, right? So just like a diamond has to be under heat and pressure for a long time. So there you have it. I hope you enjoyed. And this is Kazul reminding you to embrace your inner beast.